Congratulations, you've had your offer accepted. So this is the next 5 steps as to what happens when you go through the property purchasing process. It's a lot of P's. Step 1, collating the last remaining parts of your documentation and information so that your broker can submit the application in full. This includes things like the estate agent, the property address, the property type and style, the agreed price, the deposit amount, and everything else in between to make sure the broker can then line up the right lender for you. Bring us on to step 2, actual bank and the rates. So rates at the moment have been jumping around a bit, so it could mean that the lender that you had your agreement in principle with is not necessarily the lender that you're going to be submitting your application with. Either way, your broker should be providing you all the documentation so you know exactly who the bank is, what the rate is, how much you're going to be paying per month, the total amount of term, and the fixed term period as well. This brings us on to step 3, which is submitting the application in full. The broker, once they have all this information, will then submit the entire application to the bank, upload all of your documentation over to them. The bank will then start the underwriting process, which means they will go through all of your payslips, your tax documents, your bank statements, and methodically make sure that they have looked over everything to conclusively ensure that you can afford this mortgage. Step 4, the survey. Now the banks will do their own valuation, which falls under level 1, and they'll do this in 3 ways. They'll either do a physical valuation, a drive-by, quite literally what it sounds like, or a desktop valuation, which means that no one leaves their desk, they just find out all the information they need to from their computer. If they end up doing a physical valuation, there is a possibility they may spot something very small or very wrong with the property in some sort of way, and if they do, they will flag this to the broker and the broker can bring it back to you. In most cases, this is just to establish the affordability and what you are paying for the property is exactly what the property is worth. If you're going for your own private survey, you then normally fall into 2 brackets, either a level 2 or a level 3. A level 2 will fall under the structural integrity of the property, just to make sure that the brickwork is okay, that the roof is okay, the foundations are okay, and there is no major issues that they can see on the external parts of the building. A level 3 is the all singing, all dancing version. It's the one where they actually go and visit the property internally, externally, and everything else between. They make sure that the property is as sound as it possibly can be. Now, if you go for a level 3 survey, can be some grey areas in what they report because they have to make sure there is no legal recourse. So you may see words in there like would advise you to contact a gas safety specialist, would advise you to go and contact an electrical specialist. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the property, it just means that they are not qualified to tell you if the boiler is up to date or the fuse board is up to date. So if you do feel like some of these grey points are a little bit alarming to you, feel free to take the report to any gas safe engineer or electrical engineer or anyone that the surveyor has suggested. Once all that is done, it brings us to step 4, which is the mortgage offer. This is the point where the bank categorically are happy with providing you the mortgage in full and they're happy with the property itself. Now this is a contractual agreement between you and the bank, so they have given you this mortgage on the context of how you have been underwritten. It's based on your current financial situation at the moment, it's based on your credit score at the moment, and it's based on the property and its details at that moment in time. If any of those situations were to change, the bank does have the right to revoke that offer and reassess the case how they want to. So if you're in the process of renegotiating the price, factor that in. If you are thinking about taking out any additional finance, factor that in because it will cost you.
Cause I have $30,000 in credit card debt.
Or if for any reason you don't end up buying this property and buying another one because something else has popped up that you prefer, the application is probably going to need to be resubmitted. But assuming that everything is still okay, that's when your solicitors will then take everything from the mortgage offer and run it right through to the point of exchange. They'll be liaising with the other side. They'll be going back and forth with queries, questions, making sure that everything gets answered and everything is watertight, and they'll be getting you swiftly to the point of exchanging contracts.